Through the Gates is produced under the support of the Coloradans for Responsible Wildlife Management to enhance, promote, and defend the North American model of wildlife conservation and responsible wildlife management. That's our mission. We're engaged in fighting at every level so that wildlife management remains science-based and conservation continues to work for our wildlife. To learn more and join the movement, visit SaveTheHuntColorado.com. The North American model of wildlife conservation is the greatest conservation model in the world. It's a success story that should be shared and celebrated because everybody is a part of it. Well, we got a brief update for Through the Gates to Save the Hunt. And as you guys know, I mean, the legislative session is in full swing, and I don't know how this is going to play out in the end and how things are going to end up in totality. But between the gun stuff, between the things that we've either amended or that we've put proposals in to either downgrade it or some capacity, the things that we've stopped, and probably likely by the time that this airs and toward the end of the session, there's going to be a lot of stuff that gun owners, sportsmen and women, the agriculture industry is going to have to deal with. And so what I would say is just keep apprised at all levels of government, specifically the Colorado State Legislature. But in the meantime, this coming week, we've got the Mile High Hunt and Fish Expo, which is at the Gaylord Convention Center in Denver, Colorado. And if you guys haven't been there, last year was the first year, it's a pretty remarkable turnaround from what maybe Coloradans have had a chance to engage in over the course of the last, 10 or 15 years. Demographics have changed to some degree, but downtown Denver has become a little bit of a difficult place to be able to do a lot of these things because of some gun laws, rules, and regulations. But, the International Sportsmen's Expo that happens at the Colorado Convention Center is in January. Well, this is the Mile High Hunt and Fish Expo, and it'll be April 11th, 12th, and 13th at the Gaylord Convention Center, the Gaylord Hotel out by Denver International Airport. For more information, you can check it out on any of their Instagram or social media pages and their website, Mile High Hunt Expo. We'll be at booth 220. We'll be doing some podcasts on that Friday, the 11th, and we'll be kind of mingling with the general public. We've got some swag that'll be for sale, some new stuff that's never been on the market at all, to help fundraise and to help support our efforts to be able to support the Coloradans for Responsible Wildlife Management. And while we've been doing what we've been doing at the Capitol with our lobbyists, we've also been playing at the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission. All of this takes money, and it takes money to be able to do what we need to do to build up an armament like what we were successful on Proposition 127, where we defeated the mountain lion and bobcat issue last year. In addition to that, we also supported and helped fund Ordinance 308, which was the fur ban in Denver, and that would have prohibited the sale of cowboy hats, fishing lures, and Native American crafts, along with just general fur items as well. Sportsman's Day at the Capitol is April 25th. Now, for those that have not been there before, this is primarily for Colorado residents, but we had a lot of non-residents show up last year because of the issues that we were fighting on Initiative 91 that became Proposition 127. Sportsman's Day at the Capitol. We'll have Senate and House joint resolutions about the benefits of hunting and fishing and what sportsmen contribute to the state of Colorado. It's about $7.25 billion, creates about 25,000 jobs, and is a mechanism that helps fund 961 species of wildlife management in the state of Colorado, 78 of which are game species. Sportsman's Day at the Capitol, we do a wild game feed from 11 until 2 o'clock on the east lawn of the Colorado Capitol in downtown Denver. Last year, during crappy weather, we had about 450 people attend, and the year before that was approaching 700. We would encourage everybody to come, no firearms, obviously, but come down there, support Sportsman's Day at the Capitol, and let the legislators of Colorado know that not only are we a force to be reckoned with, but we are the conservationists in the state of Colorado. We have probably 100 legislators that know about the Sportsmen's Legislative Caucus, and we have about 14 or 15 that are actually members of the caucus that are actually supportive of our efforts, but they're also having to deal with constituency efforts all throughout the districts that they represent. So we need people to show up April 25th, Sportsman's Day at the Capitol from 11 to 2. Show your support. Take the time out. Come down and eat a wild game luncheon, no charge, and socialize with some of the sportsmen and women that help support the efforts to defeat 127 and that are actually continuing to prop up what Colorado Parks and Wildlife does and what sportsmen and women contribute as well. May 3rd, the Colorado Outfitters Association has their annual fundraising banquet down in Pagosa Springs. And for more information, you can look up the Colorado Outfitters Association and check out that information as well. The Rocky Mountain Bighorn Society is having their banquet come up on May 17th up at the Embassy Suites Hotel in Loveland, Colorado. And for more information, make sure you follow them, the Rocky Mountain Bighorn Society, RMBS, and you can get information on the particular raffles that they're doing and the fundraising event and so forth on that end. A lot of things happen at the General Assembly, and as we're going to turn around and be able to maybe report on things on Instagram and Facebook, we'll try to keep people apprised. But just as an example, things that happened on Senate Bill 003, what they happened last week where we thought things were going to maybe be in the House Appropriations on Friday of last week, they actually dropped it and they decided to put it in right after adjournment on Tuesday. So it went through appropriations on Tuesday, passed out of that committee 7-4, then was going to go to the full House floor. By the time that this is reported, we don't know the outcome of that yet. But if it's actually approved through the House, then it'll go back to the Senate. Keep in mind, 003, the gun ban or the detachable magazine ban on semi-automatic weapons, had about 60 different amendments, and the Senate needs to be able to approve those amendments that went through the House. So there's still a chance that that won't pass, and if it does pass both chambers, maybe with enough pressure, the Colorado Governor Jared Polis, with enough pressure, would veto that, or at least to let it sit to the point to where there would be some consternation on who was going to support that and who wasn't. Over the course of the next 5 or 6 weeks, you'll see a lot of things come down the pike. I think the legislative session actually ends on May 9th. So we've got a lot of things that could come out either with late bills or bills that have been sitting there waiting for something to happen. But if you're a gun owner, if you are a shooter, if you're a hunter, you need to pay attention, because if these things continue to move forward, there will be a lot of changes that law-abiding, Second Amendment, gun-owning individuals, for whatever reason you own one, will be affected dramatically. Additionally, on top of all the other stuff, we need to report on things that we reported on Instagram previously, that House Bill 1258, which would have altered the ability for Colorado Parks and Wildlife to manage wildlife appropriately, because it would have changed the language, the statutory language, and essentially changed their message and their mission, their ability to manage our wildlife. That failed. We beat Cats Aren't Trophies again. That failed by a margin of 10-3. And it's worth mentioning, it's the same people with the same language and the same background and the same organizations that attempted to try to maybe disprove what Colorado Parks and Wildlife could do, but more importantly than anything, lied to the general public about what the intent actually was. The intent on 127 was much broader than just mountain lions and bobcats, just as this particular measure, 1258, would have been much broader. The legislators, Democrat and Republicans alike, saw through the smoke and mirrors that was created. And although Representative Story might not like the outcome, she lost on that particular measure because she didn't do her homework and she didn't follow through with what the agency was trying to do as far as science-based wildlife management. For more information on all this stuff, go to SaveTheHuntColorado.com, and at the same time, keep apprised of all the things that I previously mentioned. Follow us on Instagram at c.r.w.m, and also look at Facebook at the Coloradans for Responsible Wildlife Management. Check out any of the National Shooting and Sports Foundation websites, maybe the National Rifle Association website, Gun Owners of America, the Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. A lot of things are coming down the pike that you, as a consumer and a sportsman in Colorado, need to be aware of. Aim small, miss small. If you want to support a company that supported the efforts to defeat Proposition 127, then you need to support Davis Tent. Davis Tent has provided quality canvas goods for outdoorsmen for the last 50-plus years. For more information, go to davistent.com. If you want to support another business that was instrumental in helping us defeat Proposition 127, check out Salida Gun Shop. Salida Gun Shop in Salida, Colorado provides quality products, expertise, and knowledge from individuals that actually do what they sell. Go to SalidaGunshop.com. Listen to the advice of Cameron Haynes and support companies that are supporting your cause and your efforts. Minturn Anglers is one of those companies. Minturn Anglers provides product and fishing excursions in Colorado and are second to none. For more information, go to minturnanglers.com.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Through the Gates. For more content like this, make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe on all of our channels.